Along with weight loss, it's one of the many ways to fight osteoarthritis pain. For more information on managing pain, go to fightarthritispain.org.
Welcome to this edition of Lancaster Perspective. I'm Mike Miller. Thanks for tuning in today. My special guest, Superintendent of Berne Union Schools, Richard Spindler. Welcome.
Welcome. Thanks for having me.
I'm glad you could be here today. I know you have a busy schedule.
Yeah, some days I do. So
that's because in addition to being the superintendent, you're also the athletic director. And
yes, that is correct.
All their duties as assigned is.
Yeah, whatever. Yes. Yep. Whatever I'm asked to do, I do.
A little bit about Richard Spindler. Been at Berne Union. Been a couple other places. Talk a little bit about
Yes. Started, I believe, 2008. I started at Berne Union and was there for almost 3 years. And my wife took a position in Chillicothe, where we live, and opportunity to be a director in her office. So I looked for a position close to home. Ended up at Zane Trace for a few years. The person that replaced me at Berne Union retired, and Berne Union called and asked if I wanted to come back, and just really missed the time away, and just glad to be back.
They're an alumni of Rio Grande, Ashland, and
yes, University of Dayton. Also.
There we go.
Yes. Undergraduate was Rio Grande, and did my master's degree work at University of Dayton, and then more certifications through Ashland University, and halfway through a doctorate with Northeastern University. So
wow.
So I might be done. I might be done with that one. That one took a lot out of me, and as busy as I am, I don't know that I have the time right now to do any more. So.
Well, I know everybody appreciates all the work you do at Berne Union. I know that. You coached a little bit along the way too.
Used to be a head football coach. Coached baseball. Helped college at Rio Grande after I graduated. Coached high school football for several years. Coached. Most fun I probably ever had coaching was 7th grade girls basketball. Just a good group of girls, and they were a lot of fun, and really enjoyed that. It was going from a football season right into 7th grade basketball. Wasn't sure how to handle that, but it was fun. Really enjoyed it, and but definitely don't have time to coach anymore. So
well, again, there's a lot of stuff going on at Berne Union, and the reason we have you on the show is going to talk about the ballot issue number 25, which is replacement income tax levy coming up for Berne Union. Yes,
we have a 1% income tax currently being supported by the community, and we're looking to increase that to 2%, and that is issue 25. The state has been cutting the funding for Berne Union schools the last several years. We've lost about 7% of our funding, and the only way schools can generate revenue is either have a lot of students move into the district or put on a levy. And that's what we're doing right now. Our enrollment is not really dropping, but it's not increasing enough to where it's making up for the loss of state revenue, so we have to ask the voters to approve a 2% income tax, and it is a little bit different from what we're doing now. So.
But the one thing we do want to point out is there's no new taxes on retirement, pensions, alimony, unemployment.
Right. Currently, people who live in the Berne Union district that are retired or have alimony or pensions, unemployment, those are currently being taxed. And with the new levy, those taxes on those people will go away. So it's only on what is called an earned income. So several different types. The other ones, I believe, if you're on unemployment, would not be taxed. So the biggest for us, I guess, when we looked at 1% going to a 2%, was there was a change in the law from when this levy originally started. Back when it was first put on, you had to tax everybody. Well, I believe it was a year after our levy had passed, the state changed the law and said, well, you now may exempt people who have retirements and pensions and unemployment, and that's what we're choosing to do this time. So to to the people on more of a fixed income, that would be a boost to them.
And there's a lot of things that have happened, but you've reduced the staff. I mean, there's been a lot of things that have happened.
We have. We've cut around $800,000 probably the last 3 or 4 years. Every teacher that's retired has either not been replaced or has been replaced with a teacher at beginning salary. And there is a salary schedule for teachers, and regardless of the number of years of experience, those people coming in have been at step 0. And that's just a choice that we've had to make because of, again, the loss of funding. But we're still able to get quality teachers in. It's just we're not able to pay them.
Well, one of the other things is that you share a treasurer with another school district.
We do. We share. Mr. Grandy has been working with us for, I believe, 4 years now, maybe 5. But he is also the treasurer up at Walnut Township Schools. So that's been a boost to the budget as well, being able to have him part-time, and that makes a difference also on the budget, just not having to pay a full-time person.
If you're just joining us today, I'm Mike Miller for Lancaster Perspective. My special guest, Richard Spindler, Superintendent of Berne Union Schools, talking about Issue 25, which is on the November ballot, asking for a replacement income tax of 2%. People always ask, well, how do you spend your money? I mean,
Yes.
we talk about personnel, facilities, and other costs. And,
Yes.
And as we've done some research, Berne Union is way below the national or the Ohio average.
We are. Normally schools are around 80% of their budget being personnel and what we would call fringes like insurance and retirements, those kind of things. And we're in the low 70s. And part of that is because of bringing in the newer teachers, not replacing teachers that have retired. They did cut the family and consumer science position a couple of years ago. One principal has been reduced. We had 3 principals 2 years ago, and then the last year they had a dean of students athletic director position, and that was also removed. That person is now the high school principal, and then I assume the duties of athletic director, so we've eliminated that position. Just different things. So once we start doing those, we've got the cost down to the low 70s. Percentage-wise, and then we start looking at being an older building, always having issues with our facilities with the heating and cooling and just in technology, things break down. And that's roughly about 22% of our budget's going for maintaining the old building, the utility costs, and those kind of things.
I have to laugh because in our building where I work, it's 3 stories, and one of the elevators broke. The motors burn up. So we were talking about the cost of a motor and all those things, and it's amazing.
Yeah.
One of the things that people always talk about is the school rating, and Berne Union was rated excellent.
We have been. We have had outstanding test scores for several years. Our elementary last year actually became what's called a reward school. There are only 38 schools in the state of Ohio that received it. It's a very good honor that shows that our test scores are very high, but yet we have a higher number of kids that you want I guess to simplify, are on free and reduced lunch. You know, it's a category. It's a socioeconomically disadvantaged, and those students score very well on tests, and just shows what a great job that we're doing down at Berne Union with educating children. But not only is it good at the elementary, but when we start looking at our high school, when we receive a report every year of all of the students who take the ACT, which is a test basically for college entrance, shows if they're ready for college. Berne Union had the highest composite scores in Fairfield County. When you add up all the scores of every kid that took the ACT test last year, Berne Union and Millersport both tied for the highest composite scores in the county. So it shows us that we are preparing our students well for college.
Is it hard to do this for you? I mean, is it hard to ask for money?
It is somewhat. You know, there's a responsibility that all of us have to pay taxes, and no one wants to continually add in taxes, but at the same time, you know, we have to ask ourselves, what is it that we want from our schools? And with the state reducing money, again, there's no other way for us to generate. So yeah, it is somewhat hard, because I know sometimes it's a burden on people to give more to the schools, because at some point they'll be asked to give maybe to a charity or
Right.
to something else. So there's always different things that people are asked to give for, but we look at the school because it's the focal point of the community. So many things happen there that people have always been supportive of Berne Union Schools, and we just start, we look at all the activities and all the things that go on down there, and so part of me doesn't feel bad about having to ask, just because even our programs for our, we want to call them the Pee-wee or the
Youth leagues.
they use our facilities, and so it's not just the kids who go to school there that are Berne Union sports, but our youth league, it's the Sugar Grove Junior Athletics, and they have basically free reign of our facilities as well, and we hold other events in our community room, and I'll tell you, coming up next Friday, any veteran is welcome to attend. Berne Union has a huge veterans assembly, and we're doing that in the afternoon, be a week from Friday, and which would be the 8th, the 8th of November, and it has become so large we've had to move it out of our community room into the gymnasium.
Wow.
So that's a huge community event, and we've been getting a lot of people calling saying that they want to attend or they will be attending. So that's just a huge event for our school as well.
If they want to attend, do they just call the school? Is that the
Call the
easiest way to
school, or
okay.
just show
Anybody
up.
to call Sonia? Or
Yes, and I will tell you, Sonia Downhour has done a wonderful job with organizing this. But she's going to unveil some huge boards that have a lot of the veterans that attend, their names on the board. Wow. It will give their branch of service, and it will also have a symbol as to whether or not they've attended Berne Union schools or not. It's just, it's a very nice ceremony, and a couple of our teachers are involved with it, and it's just very nice. Again, any veterans, well, anybody can attend. But it's just really emotional and very special for the veterans, and just our way of honoring them.
That's great. That's fantastic. Do you meet with other superintendents and talk about issues like this or state funding?
We do. I actually had the opportunity recently to meet with the state superintendent, Richard Ross, and Dr. Ross was down in Chillicothe presenting an award to Worthington Elementary for high achievement, and he stayed around to just basically have a question and answer session with superintendents. So I had the opportunity to meet with him and discuss things going on in education and all of this change that we're dealing with. And but as a group, the Educational Service Center has all of the county superintendents meet twice a month, and we'll be meeting again soon just to discuss changes in legislation or pending legislation. But yeah, we all talk about funding because it's just one of those things that it's very important to us. But with all the change, it just doesn't seem like we're ever getting enough funding to implement all the change and all the new legislation. So.
Is it, when you first started out years ago and to now, biggest change? I mean, is it funding?
I think that has been the amount of legislation that is in the schools, the things that are just because legislators have made laws that say you must do this, this, and this, and I get accountability has become the big word. We're holding everyone accountable for the students' test scores or how you're spending your money, just various things. But so much of that has been legislatively driven here within the last several years. That's been the biggest change, probably.
If Richard Spindler weren't in education, what would he be doing now?
Oh gosh, I originally started out. I was going to be an accountant. And took my first year of college, thought I would like that, and after taking some classes, I decided that didn't want to go into accounting, and actually started coaching. And with the coaching, I decided to switch and become an education major. So possibly business or accounting. It's hard to say.
Own your own business, or?
I'm not sure about that, but that's what I was originally looking at doing. So,
when you look at I know everybody talks about 2-year plans and 5-year plans and 10-year plans, and do you have one that for yourself that you do, and then maybe one for the school system?
We normally make a plan together. We do a yearly plan as far as what we want to do academically, or maybe some of the things that we're looking at being able to do differently with our students. we're hoping to at some point be able to incorporate some type of advanced placement courses or some things that help students just continue to be college ready. We currently have about 15 courses at Berne Union that if the student takes at Berne Union, it counts as a college credit. It's called dual enrollment. So about 15 of those right now. And we're hoping those will continue. The Board of Regents makes a determination every year as to whether or not those courses meet their guidelines and we're able to give college credit for those. But we're looking at possibly even expanding at some point into more of an advanced placement or looking at some possibly online advanced placement. But every year we're looking at test scores and are there any weaknesses that we see, anything like that. Our test scores are broke down now into students with disabilities, socioeconomic. I mean, there's several different what they call subgroups. So we focus on those things that if if there's an area that we feel needs improvement, we'll focus on that for the coming school year. But at this point, we don't have what I would say a 5-year plan for the school. Personally, I don't have the 5-year plan either right now. I know that I'll be working in 5 years, so no, that's just right now with all the change, it's almost hard to look 5 years down the road.
Right. Yeah.
The treasurer has to prepare a financial report. It's called a 5-year forecast. That's based on what he thinks our finances will look like next year, the year after. And it's so hard right now to really even look past 1 year with all the change and with the way schools are funded. He's still required to do a 5-year forecast,
Right.
but really after the first year, it's becomes hard.
Moot point,
hard,
yeah.
yeah, pretty much, yeah.
When unsolicited, solicited, you get a lot of help from people. A lot of parents.
Yeah,
A lot of, why don't we have this class? Why don't we have that?
Not a lot of that. I mean, we, for such a small school, we're able to meet a lot of needs. And we do a very good job of educating children with special needs. And if we can't do it at Berne Union, there are units throughout the county that we will transport the students to.
That was my next question. How
So-
much interaction is there amongst other county schools?
We send students over to Bloom Carroll, Liberty Union, Amanda Clear Creek, for different disabilities. And so we may only have one student that has a certain disability, therefore financially it's not feasible to have a teacher just for that one student. But because we have what's called a cooperative, we can send a group of students to different schools. And that's what we do, and that's what all the county does. It's a cooperative. The Educational Service Center manages all that. So we're able to send students to have needs met, and they do just a great job at all the schools and meeting the needs. And is there an annual meeting where principals and superintendents all get together as principals and superintendents, or do you just meet with Mr. Parker once in a while? And we see each other every day. Same way with Mr. Templin. We're constantly meeting and talking about different things. The Educational Service Center actually has the principals meet once a month to discuss things. And again, like I mentioned, superintendents are meeting twice a month. And it's just basically finding out what everybody's doing and how certain legislation or certain things will affect each school, and so we help each other and discuss a lot of things. And
does the competition come out like, oh, we were rated excellent?
Yeah, well, I will tell you, what's been really nice is so many times, Mr. Temp, people want to know, what are you doing down there at Berne Union to have such high test scores? And I'll tell you, Bloom Carroll has done a very good job of having high test scores as well. Just there was that competition between us, and still have that. It's just a lot of that's when we start looking at the things that we provide for our students and how they're scoring on tests. And I think everyone in Fairfield County really does a great job. If you put all the scores on a spreadsheet, one school will have the highest in third, a different school will have the highest in fourth. So it just varies. But there's really not a school in Fairfield County that's not doing a good job educating kids.
One of the questions that I know the camera guy is going to laugh about this, but students when you started versus students today?
Yeah.
Different mindset?
Oh,
different,
absolutely.
I mean,
When I first started, that was in 1990. And some people watching this weren't even born or even thought of at this point. But Yeah, it's the technology piece is so different. Kids today have so many things that they can use to help them learn. You know, my daughter takes her iPad to school every day. Now, some days gets free time and she's playing games, but there's so many different things that they can do on her iPad with technology that will help her. If she's working on an assignment, she can just look something up real quick and have that right there within a minute or so. And part of that has been really good for kids, but part of that too is we're finding kids sometimes with that technology will drift off a little bit and may not pay as much attention. We just didn't have those resources available. But and you know, attitudes today are a little different as well. And I'm sure when I was in school, our teachers thought, gosh, when we were kids didn't act like this. But you know, it changes. But there's so much available today to students that there's no reason for someone not to excel in school as long as they really want to.
Are kids more driven by grades now than they were? I mean, kids always say, well, if I get a B, I get a B. But
yeah,
I mean,
it
I knew
varies.
kids that if they got an A-, they were, you didn't talk to them for a week.
Oh, yeah. You know, that varies. That's funny because we, you know, my daughter come home one day and, how'd you do on your test? B. B? What do you mean, B? We've studied and studied. Oh, I got a B. What's wrong with that? Well, you know, we're expecting an A. And you know, my parents rarely asked, you know, when I came home from how was school, what grades, they just, it was different. And so much of how the student takes school, it comes from the parents. You know, whether, you know, parents are going to be right there helping every second, or maybe they never ask. So that's part of it, the parent involvement. Today, I think there are a lot more parents working, both mom and dad are working, or they're single parent homes, or grandparents. We see a lot of grandparents raising their grandchildren. So I think that has also had an effect on kids and their learning compared to when we were in school. Not that we didn't have split parents or grandparents, but it just seems like there's a lot more of that today.
If Richard Spindler could change one thing or mold one thing in the education system across Ohio, what would it be?
Yeah.
If I could change this tomorrow, what would you change?
You know, I would think part of that would be slow down on the legislation. If I could just say stop, just slow down and take a look at what, you know, just this year we're implementing a new evaluation system, Common Core standards. We're going to go to what's called PARC assessments, or online testing for students next year, and teachers are going to have to start teaching students at the elementary level to learn how to drop and drag. They're going to be watching interactive type videos and just do different things on tests, things that if they don't have a computer at home, they've never had the opportunity to do. So, and part of that's it's legislatively driven. So all this change is coming. We're pulling teachers out of the classroom quite a bit to learn the new changes. So that would be it. Slow down a little bit on legislation. It just needs, not that they're not good things for students, but when you do a lot of things at once, you're probably not as good as if you could focus on something and then ease into something else. So, but it's here and we're doing it.
You're going to get it done one way or the other.
Yes.
When we talk about just school in general and kids even when I was in high school years ago, you know, a lot of kids, I just want to get through high school. But I've noticed kids are thinking more about what I'm going to do after high school. Is that part of what you get involved with too? I mean,
yeah, and that's, you know, guidance counselors come into play there. And we're very fortunate to have Mr. Heath, Craig Heath at Berne Union. He is so involved with the students, and it's just trying to he meets individually with every student and looks at career paths and tries to figure out how can we best meet the students' needs. We've got career tech that the students will go to, you know, college prep students, or those students who are just looking to finish high school just so they can get a job. There's a variety of needs that we're meeting, and but today it's a lot harder if you don't have the education to find something. Because I don't know what the statistics say, but there are a lot of college graduates looking for jobs. They're just not. There's certain areas that you can go into and get a job easily, but there are a lot of areas that even with that degree, there are students that are struggling to find something.
So when Richard Spindler is not doing school stuff, what are we doing? Playing golf?
Very little. No, usually following my daughter, whether she's doing
swimmer. She's
swimming. Yeah, we'll be at various swim meets on the every Saturday. We're heading somewhere for a swim meet, and swims for the YMCA, and usually that. She ran cross country this year. Those take up quite a bit of time. She does civic theater, and that's starting back up. So mostly it's those, or just taking walks or walking the dogs, just kind of a little downtime.
I was going to say, are times you just think, okay, wait a minute, what time is it?
Oh, well, yes. Well, I tell you, just, with being so busy sometimes, there are times that I may take a phone call, write myself a note, and then 2 days later is the next time I think about what I was supposed to do. So, and we all do that.
Oh, yeah.
But it's like you kind of catch yourself coming and going. So.
Yeah. Well, we do appreciate you coming on, and again, we've been talking with Richard Spindler, the superintendent / athletic director / catch-all for Berne Union Schools, talking about issue 25, which is school levy, which is the current levy of 1% is expiring.
Yes, it will soon expire, and then we're hoping that it will become a 2%. And again, can't stress enough that people that are on fixed income, such as retirements,
Child support.
pensions, child support, alimony, unemployment, those things will not be taxed. So that is a change from what we're currently doing.
Is there a number or a website? Can they go to the Berne Union website? Or?
Yeah, if you, we actually are sending everyone that is a resident voter in the Berne Union School District will be getting a letter. If you didn't get it, it will be coming before the election. So I can say they're in the mail and on the way, and so those will be available soon for information. But yeah, call the school, email me, spindler@buschools.com, and either way, we'll get the information out, and that way we want everybody to be able to make an informed decision.
Big Ohio State fan, or?
Yes.
I know Parker is.
Yes. Oh yeah, definitely. Yep. I haven't, because of all these swim meets, we never get the opportunity to go. We have relatives that actually rent a tailgate spot.
Oh, wow.
On Lane Avenue, so we've got to play whenever we have a free Saturday, which doesn't happen.
That doesn't happen very often.
No.
Well, again, Mr. Spindler, we appreciate you coming in, and good luck with everything at Berne Union, and good luck with the levy, and hopefully we'll have good news next Tuesday.
Let's hope. Thank you, and I appreciate you having me on.
Absolutely. Thanks for tuning in to this edition of Lancaster Perspective. I'm Mike Miller, and remember, until we meet again, let's make a difference.